motherfucker, Thug Nation alert. Keep his name on the streets till you lay in the dirt.
Yeah, what up, y'all? It's Crack, it's Cook Coke. My memory of Tupac, I remember one time I was on 125th, man. I seen a big crowd, bunch of people running. I seen one dude in the middle of the crowd, man. He had like 100 bootleg t-shirts in his shoulder and like 100 bootleg tapes, and he was just pounding out all the Africans. I mean, that's my vision of Pac. Every time I seen him, he was flipping. Definitely one of the realest ever.
I just seen him every time I saw him, he was into some shit, fucking some niggas up, doing some crazy shit.
Pac, by far the realest rapper on earth.
Only Gab can do it like this. Yo, YouTube, what up? It's your homie Gab, I'm in the building. And this is MAKAVELI Media. So about 3 weeks ago, I did a video about Fat Joe talking about the first time he met Tupac down in Atlanta. And Fat Joe was talking about he was in the cypher, and the dude rolled up in a red bandana, had 2 straps on him, you know, and I took everybody back with Mr. Two Glocks. You know what I mean? Tupac's alias, you know what I mean? And in that video, I said Fat Joe always talks about Tupac wilding out. I talked about how the fact that I heard personally, I heard Fat Joe say that he saw Tupac beat up some bootleggers, you know, selling his tapes illegally on the streets of New York. And a lot of people was like, oh, Gab, we never heard Fat Joe say that. Fat Joe never said Tupac beat up bootleggers. You talking about the video footage of Tupac approaching the bootlegger. And I'm saying to myself, wow. Because I watch all the DVDs like everybody else. I saw all the documentaries. Of course I saw that footage.
I see my tape up there again. By the word of God, I swear, I'm dropping this shit to the concrete.
Of Tupac leaning on the one bootlegger that was selling his tapes on the street. But that wasn't what I was talking about. So being the person that I am, I'm saying, Gab, where in the world did you hear Fat Joe talking about Tupac beating up bootleggers? So I'm thinking, where did I hear it? Was it a DVD? No. Was it an interview? No. And all of a sudden, my mind rewound. And the very same mixtape that I got the Bounty Killer reggae artist saying Mr. Two Glocks about Tupac is where I heard Fat Joe say,
Yeah, what up, y'all? It's Crack, it's Cook Coke. My memory of Tupac, I remember one time I was on 125th, man. I seen a big crowd, bunch of people running. I seen one dude in the middle of the crowd, man. He had like 100 bootleg t-shirts in his shoulder and like 100 bootleg tapes, and he was just pounding out all the Africans. I mean, that's my vision of Pac. Every time I seen him, he was flipping. Definitely one of the realest ever.
Rap Phenomenon. It's a dope mixtape. Check it out. Came out a long time ago, but that had the interlude with Fat Joe talking about Tupac beating up bootleggers. But it don't just stop there, though. Because Tupac was famous for beating people up. Oh, man, him and his partner, Tretch. I can't even go into some of the stories that I know. Because I would rather have the people come on the show and tell you about it. And when they feel comfortable enough to do that, I get them on here and let them tell you how Pac was wilding out, for real. I mean, beating rappers up, well-known rappers up that you would have no idea they got punched in the face by Tupac. For whatever reason. But yeah, back to Fat Joe. Fat Joe, every time I hear a brother speak about Tupac, it's always something wild. And I don't think it's no disrespect. I know at one time, you know, Fat Joe was repping his side and Pac was repping his side. But I also heard Fat Joe speak from terms of endearment about Tupac several times. And even when he telling these wild, crazy stories about Tupac, it's always from respect.
And I just seen him every time I saw him, he was into some shit, fucking some niggas up, doing some crazy shit.
Because lions respect lions. That's a fact. And we all know, we know Fat Joe Jacket. We know that Joey Crack is from the Bronx. And he's a serious dude. That's without a doubt, no question there. But that's what he respected about Tupac. He called Tupac the realest rapper ever.
By far the realest rapper on earth.
Think about that for a minute. Think about all the Fat Joe homies. Think about all the rappers in New York City and California and everywhere in between, you know, that claim gangster. So for Joe to call Pac the realest ever, that mean he bar none, right? Bar none. So you got to salute Joe on that. But yeah, you know, it was just another wild, crazy story from Fat Joe about Tupac, man. I remember when I first heard it, I was like, whoa. You know, because this was one of the first times that I ever heard Fat Joe open up about Tupac in the first place. And, you know, and to him open up and tell a gangster story, it was like, whoa. He's talking about, you know, seeing Pac on 125th Street and, you know, with a bunch of bootleg T-shirts and a bunch of bootleg tapes and Pac was pounding out Africans. I was like, whoa. Crazy story, man. But, you know, if Fat Joe said it, he said it. And, you know, at one point in time, man, bootlegging was unacceptable, man. I mean, it was messages in hip-hop, rappers telling people not to support it. You had people like Pete Rock and CL Smooth, you know, making songs about it.
Right, y'all.
It was a big deal because, you know, I still believe to this day that the record companies was jerking a lot of rappers like that. Because back then, rappers' deals, you know, was a lot different from right now. So they was counting on them royalty checks, man. And, you know, somehow the black musicians, preferably hip-hop artists, tapes was getting bootlegged. You know, and they wasn't seeing a penny of that money. But Tupac took it a step further. He wasn't just making songs telling people to stop doing it. If he saw you selling his tape or any of his homeboys' tapes.
125, I gotta hit your line, beat your ass with my tape, any race or shape.
Oh yeah, you know what was up. He was getting beat up. I think about that footage. How Pac had the one little bootlegger sweating. He was like, take it to the police. Pac was like, no, you can take it to the police.
Police.
No, I don't have to take it to the police. You can take it to the police. I dropped the shit down.
That shit was wild, man. And you had the little Asian guy selling his watches beside him. Pac told him he was going to flip his watch stand over, tell him mind his business.
You can't say shit, mind your business. You mind your business. You don't have nothing to do with it. You ain't got shit to do with it.
You know, that was evidence right there that Pac was wilding out. Especially over these bootleg tapes. I remember the bootleg tapes, though. They was flimsy. They wasn't CDs. This was pre-CD. This was when they had real tapes. They was flimsy. And it was like a cheap little cardboard copy of like the album cover. Looked like it was Xerox, but it wasn't like clear. It was just whack, man. But you know, everybody was trying to hustle. Anyway, I need you guys to share and like this video. Don't forget to sub to the channel. Oh yeah, this is MAKAVELI Media. I'm your homie Gab. It's been a pleasure as always. I'm signing off. I'm about to hit y'all with the peace.
When I finish, I'm coming back. If my shit is out here, I'm dropping it. And if he says something, I'm dropping his watches.